Greco from the Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus.
Cuyahoga County, say that again?
Progressive Caucus.
Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus. I guess we can talk to you, sir.
I think so.
I think so. So we'll go on with this interview, and we'll find out who we can or who we can't talk to later. But at this time, yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, first of all, we're glad that you called in. And what's on your mind? And can you tell us a little bit about the group that you represent?
Well, our organization is always on my mind. I'm the political director of the Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus. We are 14 months old. We formed out of the Bernie Sanders campaign. We launched in July of 2016, immediately after Bernie got out of the race. When we launched, we had 300 members who we had known from the Sanders campaign. Right now, we have over 3,000 members. And I was listening to Art's introduction, and I could best phrase the reason for our growth is because we present an explosion of common sense as well. We are not affiliated with any political party. I would say about half of our members would call themselves Democrats. The rest are independents, Democratic Socialists, Communists, Green Party. Anybody who considers themselves progressive has joined our organization. We actually do have a few Republicans, but I think that they don't know that they're not really Republicans anymore if they're like reading our emails and coming to our events. We're not really very conservative at all. Now, if you followed the Sanders campaign, the most important thing that he was campaigning for was to fight wealth inequality. And that's the primary goal of the Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus. We were very much allied with SEIU 1199 when they were involved in the Fight for 15 campaign last year. And probably our most important event this year has been the fight against the Q renovations and then the Q referendum effort. But we do a lot of other things as well. We're very much partnered with the indivisible groups to resist the Trump administration. Last week we had the horrible news of the rescinding of DACA and partnered with the other groups to do that candlelight vigil at Market Square. We are involved in endorsing candidates that we feel follow the progressive agenda. And we endorse candidates by a vote of our membership. We don't have anything top down. We're also involved in trying to change the Democratic Party, make it more progressive. We're going to run a slate of candidates next year for precinct committee leader and try to have influence over who is elected for the 4-year term of party chair. One of the other things, too, I want to emphasize, we are all volunteer funded, all volunteer staff. We have an office, we have supplies, but it's all small contributions. We don't have any corporate backing. We don't have any people backing us who will tell us what to do. Let's put it that way.
All right. So because of the sensitivity of the political side of what we're going through right now, let's cut through the chase and deal with the issue of the Q. Let's deal with that issue, and hopefully we can cut through the chase on this, and we won't be censored. What happened with the Q issue?
Well, when citizen activists decide to take on the corporate oligarchy, and this was a perfect example of citizens trying to fight the corporate oligarchy. We're always heavy underdogs, okay? When we started the campaign, if we thought that we could have achieved what we achieved a week ago Monday, which was the deal not going through, the Cavs backing out of the deal because the Cavs and the city of Cleveland, the mayor of Cleveland, Cleveland City Council knew that their referendum would go down into a stunning defeat. Okay, so they pulled out of the deal. If we thought that when we started, then we would have looked at it a little bit differently as far as making a deal. Most people know that we achieved this great victory a week ago Monday, and then the Greater Cleveland congregations made a last-second deal, killing the referendum, and thus allowing the Cavs to come back into it, and for this, what we call this a corporate welfare scam. But we could have had a tremendous victory. Now, as far as GCC making the deal, they had a legal right to do that because it was 5 GCC members who pulled the petitions, and therefore anybody who pulls petitions, regardless of the time frame, if you're in the process of gathering signatures or even if the referendum's on the ballot, they can rescind the referendum because they were the 5 people that pulled the petition. But it wasn't those 5 people or the GCC who gathered all of the signatures. It was the GCC, it was the Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus, it was SEIU 1199, it was AFSCME, it was the Amalgamated Transit Union, and hundreds of citizens who were interested in seeing this corporate welfare scam defeated. So what happened basically was GCC decided on their own, without consulting any of the other organizations, that they were going to kill the referendum, and thus when they killed the referendum, that allowed the deal to go forward. Now, a week ago Monday, when it looked like the deal was off, I was getting calls from national reporters who had said, this is the first time in the history of modern professional sports where modern professional sports teams are just taking hundreds of millions of dollars in city and county revenue around the country and using it to hand their billionaires nice new sports palaces or other subsidies when that money can best be used in the community. So basically that's what happened.
So how does it look now? And has there been any talk of a strategy? Because there are a lot of groups out there. Like you say, one group may have pulled it off, but there are a lot of other groups out there who are just as blindsided when it went to at least collecting signatures. And like you're saying yourself, the same issue while the signatures were collected was just practice, which is suppressing the right to vote.
Right. And suppressing the will of the people, too. The citizens of the city of Cleveland should have voted on that referendum because more than enough signatures were gathered under the city of Cleveland charter to force that vote. And one of the questions you have to ask is, what does the Cleveland City Council and Mayor Jackson think the people think? Now, if they really thought, if Kevin Kelly and Frank Jackson really thought the majority of the citizens of Cleveland wanted the Q renovations, they wanted this $88 million to be used for the Q, why would they not just allow the referendum election to go forward? Why back in early May did they pull all kinds of legal trickery to prevent it from getting on the ballot? They could have said, okay, count the signatures, put it on the ballot, we'll take our case to the people of Cleveland. Well, they didn't do that. They fought it all the way through. And then when you read, some of the corporate-controlled media, all you hear about is the wonders of the deal. And Kevin Kelly saying things like, oh, well, it's only going to come from ticket sales. Well, yeah, that's true, but it's going to come from the 8% of every ticket sold at the Q that generally goes into the City of Cleveland's general fund. So it's actually coming out of the City of Cleveland's general fund. Now, moving forward, it's sad to say this, but there's nothing we can do at this point about the Q. But activist organizations, primarily our group, which is new, are very emboldened by what we achieved. We actually stopped this deal. So moving forward, we're going to watch everything Cleveland City Council does. And together, with or without the Greater Cleveland congregations, we can stop the next corporate welfare scam. We can fight wealth inequality in the city of Cleveland by being a force legislatively. And the next time they try one of these, and we're like talking to Cleveland City Councilmen, trying to get them to listen to reason, the R word is always going to be in the back of their minds. And even we might speak it directly, because we know one thing for certain. We can get enough signatures to get a referendum on the ballot. And if you think of this like, okay, if we had killed this deal, okay, the bargaining power the citizens of Cleveland would have had through the referendum process moving forward. But we still have it, but it's not as strong as if we would have killed the deal.
All right, so in essence, the Q deal, the deal that was made through the referendum is dead, and the Q deal giving them the money is on again. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so if we have to choose between winners and losers, I know your thought process and what you said, and I agree with you 100%. But when we deal with winners and losers, who's winning now?
The corporate oligarchy is winning temporarily, okay? But the people are moving closer. And I don't know, I hate to use a sports analogy, but it's like what the Browns almost did to the Steelers today. You know, you would have never thought they would have been that close. But,
Go Browns.
You know, the people are that close. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay, all right. So the question becomes to you, sir, Progressive. What's your organization called?
Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus.
Progressive Caucus. Does corporate always win?
No, not always.
When have they lost in Cleveland?
Whoa, okay. In Cleveland, they always win. I thought you were asking that as a generalized question. In Cleveland, they always win. But let's put it this way, Art. We're putting a little chink in the armor. And that we got to keep prying away at that chink until it finally breaks. And what's happening Tuesday, in the primary elections and in the general elections, November 7th, is very important as well.
I agree with you 100%. And honestly, I appreciate everything that you all have done and we've all done. We went out and got those 20,000 signatures and made it happen.
Right.
All we wanted to do was the people to speak, and if they'd have said nay, it would have been all right. If they'd have said yay, it would have been all right. But nevertheless, corporate wins again, and we accept that. But I also accept your premises that we have established the fact that we know how to fight now and we can fight.
Right. And I just say in closing, let's do it again when needed.
All right, I wish I had that Marvin Gaye record, Let's Do It Again, but I don't. That would be a great fitting ending. Thank you so much, sir. Is there any one thing you want to say?
Well, if you let me say this, membership in our organization is free, cuycpc.org. Check us out, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Turn it up, Talking John. I need a little spirituality. In my book, corporate can win, but can't nobody whoop God. Turn it up! I'm a God man myself.
I hear you on that.
He's protected me. Oh! Hallelujah. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadows of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Oh, when I went to prison, God was with me. Lord have mercy. When I almost got drowned in North Carolina in Hurricane Hazel, God was with me. When they tried to frame me and send me to prison, God was with me. Lord have mercy, when they tried to take my life, God was with me. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
That's right.
But I will abide by the rules and regulations of the authority and of corporations. Lord have mercy. That is my job.
Yes, it is.
Again, I will abide by the rules and regulations of corporations and authority. But I will not stop telling the truth.
That's right.
Because God is with me.